Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Sarita, and I have two Bath & Body Works candles for you today. I know that I'm doing some Christmas in July stuff. I promised you two more Christmas in July candles, and they will be coming. One in a few days, and then probably one on the very last day of July on the 31st. But I wanted to take a pause and do a couple newer candles from Bath & Body Works. They have released a whole spate of fall candles recently, but in the midst of those fallish candles, there were a couple candles that were really pretty spring summer burns, and I identified those at the time and said that I was going to burn them, and I have some reports for you. So one of these candles is a winner all the way, and the other one is almost a winner. So the two candles in question are Salted Amber and Vetiver and Blue Lavender Breeze. Both of these together. And the almost winner, let's start with that one. The almost winner is Blue Lavender Breeze. And first of all, I just want to say I love this package. I think it's so pretty. Look at that. It does have like a very obvious seam, but that's okay. Look at that. And then what I love especially is they've taken great care to match this like copper note here on the label, which does not look cheap, to a copper lid. And this lid is so beautiful because it's a little bit ombre-ish. I don't know if you can tell, but the inside of the lid is a little softer than the outsides of it. It's just really pretty. This is a lid I kind of want to keep and match it with other things. I know it's just a lid, but I liked it. And I'm sorry it's smudgy. Okay, so this is the almost winner. It is a almost winner. Blue Lavender Breeze. I believe this candle is new, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not a Bath & Body Works person. And I did watch when Kent from Candle Channel previewed it before. I don't think we've gotten a review from him lately, like a post burn. But when he had his first impression, he said that it was very similar to lavender coconut. And I don't know the lavender coconut candle. If I've smelled it, I don't remember it. But he said it's very, very similar. And this candle does have lavender and coconut in it. So the notes here are wild lavender, creamy sandalwood, and splash of coconut milk. So it does sound like the lavender coconut one would, just from its very notes, be very similar. But he also mentioned that that lavender coconut one smelled to him like shampoo or hair care. So, and I don't think this one does. I am gonna just conjecture that I like this one better than lavender coconut, but perhaps they are a repackage. I don't know. So I've given you the notes here: lavender, sandalwood, and coconut milk. So really a very nice summer kind of burn. And man, it's especially nice right now because probably no matter where it is that you're watching this video, you have hotter weather than you are used to having. And how refreshing does that sound? Especially the lavender and the coconut milk. Ooh, it just calms you down. It soothes you. It's like, it's perfect. Like the breeze aspect of this, I can just feel it almost psychologically. So, and I've burned this down quite a bit, and it has gotten pretty sooty on the bottom. I have not noticed the soot up top actually, and partly this is my fault how the wax has gotten a little discolored, because there was one period of time when I was actually burning both of them at the same time and lost track of time, was really busy into something, and let them burn for like 4 hours, maybe even a touch more. And I felt terrible. I blew them out as soon as I could, but they really can't go for 4 hours. With the 3 wicks like this, and they burn hot, like that needs to not happen. And they didn't quite recover past that point. They've burned okay since then, but the wax itself has just so much carbon residue in it at this point that it's like super discolored. The wicks have gotten pretty small, so I'm not quite getting the high flames and the higher volume that I got at certain points in the candle, but I have not had puny wicks on either of them, and I'm getting down pretty far at this point. I'm gonna try to burn it all the way. We'll have to see. I love the fragrance of this. It is so beautiful. Really, it's a very simple candle as well. The lavender is on the top and the sandalwood is in the middle. No, I take that back. The lavender is in the top and then there's the coconut and then the sandalwood. And that's how you smell it. You've got those like bright, like herbal elements on top, and then the coconut kind of comes in, and then underneath the sandalwood. That's how you experience it. So like the after smell is that like cozy, creamy sandalwood kind of smell. I love it because it's sweet, but I don't think it's too sweet. And I think that that's two elements, not only the lavender, but also the sandalwood. This is, I believe, the same lavender note that they use in the lavender marshmallow and the pink lavender espresso. Same herbal note, which I really like. And pink lavender espresso was, I think it's probably the best candle of the year so far from Bath & Body Works for being a new one. With lavender marshmallow though, and the pink espresso one, that herbal note, and it's a beautiful lavender. It's a little bit floral, but it's a very recognizable herbal lavender, like a pure one. It is really almost swallowed up by the espresso and by the marshmallow in those two respective candles that are very similar. And it's fine. The candles work on other levels, but it's not as much about lavender as it is that roasted caramel, either in the espresso or in the marshmallow, respectively. And the lavender just kind of cuts it a little bit on the side. Unfortunately, the lavender is a major protagonist in this candle. Supporting cast in those two, this one is supposed to be kind of the leading lady, and it's the same lavender note, which is to tell you that this candle just doesn't amplify the way that it does in the other ones. The other ones are amplified by that roasty dimension, which carries. Unfortunately, that lavender note is paired here with coconut and sandalwood that are just matching it, but they're not louder than that in the way that the espresso and the marshmallow were. This is all my way of saying that the strength and throw in this was not where I wanted it to be. It's very balanced. It's a beautiful fragrance. I just love every aspect of it, but I would say that it was in the 4 to 5.5 kind of realm. So there were times where it burned really high, really strong, like right in that mid-level right there. And I was getting like a good 5.5 out of it. I would put it in a smaller space, a bathroom, a bedroom, and it would carry. And it was coming out into the hallway, into the other rooms. So it did have some strength. And I think it's because of the austerity of the herbal note and the wood from the sandalwood is really nice. But that's about as much as I got on it. The good news is it does carry quite a bit. So I was burning it up today actually, and even with the lower wicks, it was still a 5, but it was carrying. The throw was closer to a 7. It was a thin and light fragrance that you kind of quickly become nose blind to, but when I had the door shut and another candle in another area and walked into this area, it had carried a very long distance. So I would say that the throw on this one is closer to a 7, but be prepared and adjust your expectations for that strength and throw. If it was a stronger strength and throw, it would be one of my favorite candles from Bath & Body Works. It just would be. And even so, I think that it's really nice. So I want to see this come back. But gosh, I wish that throw was consistently in the 5.5 to 7 kind of realm. That's, I think, where it needs to be, even though it is much more of you know, subtle and cleansing kind of scent. All right, let's go to the candle that really knocked it out, which is Salted Amber and Vetiver. Look how beautiful this is. It is beautiful. And I believe that it is a distant dupe or a distant cousin of a candle from Kringle. And so we're going to get to that in a second, but let's just talk about it on its own terms, on Bath & Body Works terms for a second. So the notes that have been given here is salted amber, fresh orange flower, and rich vetiver. And when I gave the first impression, and I think when other people, including Kent, have, we were all kind of taken a little aback because I was expecting something herbal with the vetiver, and that's not what comes across. You don't immediately open this and think, this is an herbal candle. If that branding wasn't here and that note wasn't listed, I don't think you would open the jar and think to yourself, herbal candle. What does come across is something bright, very bright in this candle, bright and kind of a dried citrus, along with some floral, even some green floral. Like it's not, it could be like some green stems, leaves. It's a greener floral. Yeah, that's basically it. And because of the amber, I think that the amber is lending it a perfumed dimension. So you know how like men's colognes, the generic fragrance profile for a men's cologne is like bergamot in the top, and then it's added to something that's often a little bit either aquatic or something that is herbal or something that is woody or leathery, some musk, etc. So perfume profiles across the board do this. And this has a perfume profile. It comes across perfumey. I wouldn't say heavy perfume, but definitely a perfume. It might lean a bit more feminine than masculine. I kind of would expect it to go masculine with the vetiver, but because it's not so herbal and it's really more fruity and flowery or floral, it goes a little bit more feminine. There is something vaguely aquatic about it, but I don't know if that's true to it. And it may just be the marketing, because I do think with the salted aspect of the amber, there is just a vague little bit of an ozoniness about this that could go a little bit aquatic. And I think maybe that was the genre they were going for with the color. I said when I first smelled this that I thought the name of it should be Sailing Day. And I do think that would be really nice if they wanted to go a more conceptual direction. I would say this is more of a high to mid-range candle. High to mid. It's a light, floral, aquatic kind of perfume. I think the amber, like I said, is adding the perfumed dimension and a little bit of resin. And the orange flowers are actually, they don't smell like oranges. They smell like very sweet flowers. But I'm wondering if they're meaning this in a conceptual way, i.e. fresh orange flower really means fresh orange and flower. I think that's what they mean, because I do think there are citrus elements to this. It's not a juicy kind of citrus, but most perfumes aren't. It's a very like dried citrus top note, like bergamot, you know? And then I'm not sure what they're trying to identify with the vetiver. Vetiver is a very funky herb. It's funky. And I'm wondering if it's coming across here as just kind of like an amber musk, maybe even a light musk. Anyway, it's beautiful. It performs great. I mean, with the exception of what I did to it, which was burn it for more than 4 hours. So I think that the strength on this one is about a 6 to a 7, which is great. Now, I do want to caution you that I did have to burn it about 2 or 3 times for it to get up to that particular place. So I would say that the first times I burned it, it was more like in the 5 realm. I actually thought it was super similar to this. But unlike this one, this got stronger and stronger. And once it hit that like stride into the 3rd burn, it was consistently in the like 6 to 7 kind of realm. And it's a perfumey scent. So I suspect that if it was a whole lot more than that, it would be a little overwhelming and headache inducing. But it was strong, 6.7. Throw, just about the same, maybe more of a 7.5 on the throw. The distant cousin to this one is Summerset from Kringle. And when you smell them on cold, you can detect the differences. So whereas this is a top mid-range, this is a more of a mid to base range. The notes for Kringle, they're very extensive. Top notes for this one: pear, kumquat peel, pomelo, and bergamot. So minus the pear, you've got the citrus all on top, right? Kumquat peel, pomelo, and bergamot. There's your perfume citrus right on top. Mid notes for them: red fruit, berry, peach, apricot. So a lot of like fruits in there, very generic ones. And then you have jasmine, gardenia, and peonies. So once again, you've got a fruit profile, and then you have flower: gardenia, peonies, jasmine. And then base notes: musk, sandalwood, amber, and vanilla. This candle is creamier than the Blue Lavender Breeze is. And because of those stronger creamy notes on the bottom, especially sandalwood and musk, this one goes a little deeper, which is why I say it's more like mid-base. And when you smell them up next to each other cold, like I said, there are differences. This one is bright and high range, much more emphasis on that bergamot. This one has more depth, and frankly, it has more complexity. And you look at all those scent notes, it's just got a little bit more floral, and types of floral and types of fruits. But when they were burned, they smelled almost exactly the same. In fact, not this one, I'm sorry. I'm holding the wrong candle. You know what I mean, the salted one. When I burned this after about the 2nd or 3rd time, when it started getting more full volume, I remember I just like stood in my room at a certain point and I'm like, I know what this candle is. I couldn't figure it out up to that point, although it was very pleasant and nice. But all of a sudden, when it was burned, I realized it's Summerset from Kringle. When they're burned, whatever complexities here are different than this one, they kind of burn off. And what you smell strongly from both of them is that top dry citrus, the floral fruit in between, and then something on the bottom, a lot of bottom here. And sometimes the creaminess in the sandalwood would come out strongly. Often it didn't. And that was one of my complaints about it, was that I'd like a little bit more of the cream element to come forward. Between the two of them, I think I do like this one a little bit better, just because I love the cream and I love the sandalwood and I love that vanilla. And I like the way it cuts some of the high perfume notes. But like I said, they burn very, very similarly. I like the 3-wick. And by the way, this is a paraffin. I don't know what, this is a blend. I've never even looked at Bath & Body Works, like, they don't make a big deal about their wax formula, but it looks like it's soybean oil and paraffin and palm oil. Yeah, it's a blend. And I would suspect there's probably a bit more paraffin than soy, just because paraffin is cheaper and, that's going to go for cheaper inputs. This is not like a small craft candle kind of company. Yeah, these two burn very similar. I reviewed this one 3 weeks ago because I was burning this. Great minds think alike, Bath & Body Works. Yes, this is a great time to burn both of them. But as I said, for Summerset, this is an all-season candle. I don't think that most people are going to burn it in the fall just because there's so much else to burn that's very much more fall appropriate. But you could even burn this in the fall. It's a great, great candle. A little powdery, quite a bit perfumey, maybe a little bit aquatic leaning. It's just really great. And I'm so happy to say the reception on this one so far has been good. Bath & Body Works people like it. And I'm so hoping that it sticks around. Because while I like Summerset, I know that I'll walk into a Bath & Body Works and encounter this and think to myself, hello, friend. I love you. What I love about this, and many people who have been reviewing it, like Bath & Body Works customers, are like, I want this in the body care. Yes, it could go body care. And it doesn't have quite as much sandalwood as this one. This one would probably make a better body care because it's more sandalwood and vanilla. It could make a body care. I would be in support of it coming out as a body care. But what I like about this is that it's elevated. There are a lot of fragrances for Bath & Body Works that just smell very generic body care in a very mid-range kind of way. Frankly, that's their wheelhouse. Along with Gourmand, that's what they do very well. But they have less kind of personal fragrances that are more elevated. This one is elevated. This one is intriguing. This one doesn't immediately scream, I need a fragrance mist in this, the way that many do, like 1,000 Wishes, various other ones like that. You may love those. I love to see Bath & Body Works kind of staying within their wheelhouse of personal fragrance, but pushing it a little bit and taking it in a direction that's just a little bit more ambitious. Fantastic. I give this one a thumbs up. Do I like it better than Pink Lavender Espresso from January? Not quite. But do I think it's a second candidate for Best Candle of the Year? Best New Candle of the Year? Yes, I do. I do. I think it could be in that category. So please go and pick these both up. But if you're only going to pick up one, I would say this one right here. Very unique. And actually, I think a lot of people are going to like it. They are both available, I believe, on the website, and I think you will find both of them in store right now. This is a great August burn. It looks Augusty, right? It's Augusty. Yeah, sailing day. And it's always nice to go into Bath & Body Works and get a brand new candle, and one that is actually seasonally appropriate for July and August. I love them. I gotta give Bath & Body Works a lot of credit. I will see you guys in the next one, which will be Christmas in July.